You're very definite when you go on air.
It's the Alan Jones show. They expect Alan Jones's view.
They expect you to be definite about what
Well,
you're
they expect Alan Jones's view. It's an Alan Jones program, yeah.
As you go through an issue of some complexity, do you ever get to a point where you start to question your initial premise? You think,
I've done that already. I've done that before I get on there. See, I'm not making this up as I go along. And I mean, that's one of the weaknesses, I think, of broadcasting generally. I've done all that questioning and counter-positioning before I get to the subject. I'm ready to go when I go to air.
So you don't need to question it if you're on a subject for several months. You don't need to go back and question your initial premise?
No, but I might have to change my view on air if the person being interviewed presents a compelling case, and then I'll say, well, hang on, I take your point, and you then think about it then, and then I'll take that off. I'll get Ross to take it off, and I'll look at what he said, and you sort of start again.
So when do you change your mind?
Oh, often.
Yeah?
Often on the basis of, it's evidentiary, isn't it? And sometimes that evidence will come from people I'm interviewing.
Can you give me an example of one time which you've changed your mind?
Oh, no, because it happens all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens all the time, but I'm simply saying that up until the point...
I can't remember hearing you have a situation where you've come out strongly on something and then turned around and said, no, I've changed my mind.
Well, I can't either, but it does happen. My staff would tell you it does happen.
The Islamic community had been on the agenda previously for Jones in August 2002, when a caller rang to complain that a local public pool was periodically closed to allow Muslim students, 9 to 11-year-old girls, to have swimming lessons.
Well, the pool is closed. It's a public pool. It's closed to everybody else except Muslim women.
That is correct, yes.
And they go in there and dive in all their clobber.
That is true.
Thank you. Anyone else know anything about that? It's quite extraordinary. Public pool.
In fact, the Islamic school had been paying to hire out public pools for 7 years, just like any other community group. But within hours of this broadcast, the school was forced to cancel the swimming lessons.
You'll hang on there, won't be too far away. Good on you. Ken, won't keep you too long, just stay with us.
The reason? Angry phone calls made to both the council and the swimming centre protesting the bookings, with one man threatening to physically block the students from entering.
Remember the issue a little while back about a public pool being closed so that girls from a local Islamic school could go there? Do you remember that issue?
I do.
Can you just briefly describe what that issue was?
Well, as I thought about it, it was... now, here we are, you see. See, you were asking me 10 minutes ago about an issue on which I changed my mind. Now, here's an issue. I was told by, people in the Auburn area, letters, and we'd made a few phone calls before we did this, that the pool, as I recall, the argument was closed so that Muslim girls could swim. And the reason being that they didn't wear togs like everybody else wore. They wore different gear. Now, there were very significant concerns about wearing gear other than orthodox swimming togs into the pool.
You were worried that they weren't wearing togs. That's what we call them in Queensland, togs.
Yeah, well, I was. I think, but I don't know about me. The listeners were concerned that if you allow people to just come and dive into a public pool with their top on and their pants on and their whatever else on, we don't know where the pants and the top have been. That's not necessarily the cleanest way to operate in a public pool.
But there was another element to the Jones broadcast. Callers were outraged because they wrongly concluded that the public pool was being closed to the public to cater to the religious sensibilities of a group of Muslims.
I criticised it initially. Then I found out that they weren't going in there because they didn't want people to see them swimming, which was the original suggestion. They were hiring the pool like everybody else. So that was perfectly okay. On the other hand, I still would argue that it's a public health issue what anybody wears in a pool.
I'm confused. Did you correct yourself on air?
Of course I did.
What did you say?
What I just said. I've just told you what I said.
Did that upset you when you discovered you were...
No, of course it doesn't. Why would it upset me?
Well, the girls had their swimming lessons cancelled.
Who had their swimming lessons cancelled?
The girls pulled out
of... Not to my knowledge. They didn't know they might have. I don't know. That, not to my knowledge. But that, look...
That's what I'm told happened.
Well, good luck. I mean, that's not really my concern.